Hi, it's Carrie. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about what you're going to find in PubMed, what journals are in it, and the difference between MEDLINE indexing and PMC indexing, and what that means for your journal of interest. So in PubMed, and I've done a couple of videos on this before, but nothing too in-depth. In PubMed, you're going to find over 36 million citations from MEDLINE and other resources, and it's my understanding that it's updated daily. Now let me take you down to the About PubMed section, where we can really see what's in PubMed. MEDLINE, the largest component that consists primarily of citations from journals selected for MEDLINE and indexed with MESH medical subject headings and curated with funding, genetic and chemical and other metadata. So MEDLINE is the part of PubMed that is the largest component that is indexed with MESH that includes journals indexed for MEDLINE. Then we have PubMed Central. These citations make up the second largest component of PubMed, and it's a full text archive that includes journals reviewed and selected by NLM for archiving, mostly for the reasons of public access policy compliance, but also compliance with individual funder policies. And then there's the bookshelf, and that's the final component of PubMed: books and individual chapters, additionally reports, some databases like LactMed, which is a lactation medicine database, other documents related to biomedical health and life sciences. So that's what you're searching when you search PubMed. Now, I wanted to show you that you can browse journals down here under Explore, under the MESH database. And once you do, you can then limit to journals that are indexed in MEDLINE. And in my opinion, these journals are going to have gone through a more rigorous evaluation process than the ones you would find in PMC. I'm not saying they're better, I'm just saying that the process is more rigorous. So that's one thing you can do. You can limit to journals indexed in MEDLINE. And you can go into any one record and you can find out more about it. A lot of the data around this journal: when did it start publishing? How many issues a year? What's the ISSN number, which a journal would need to have to be a journal? And is it indexed for MEDLINE? You'll see that right here. And often you will see a link to the journal's website, which is this one. There's a difference between what's indexed for MEDLINE and what's indexed for PMC, and I just wanted to show you some resources where you can read more information about that. So first of all, let's look at what's in PubMed. MEDLINE and PMC, how are they different? This page is going to give you a breakdown on how they are different, and it points you to the committee that decides and recommends which journals will be indexed for MEDLINE. So I followed that link, and we can read more about the Literature Selection Technical Review Committee. We can read about journal selection for MEDLINE, and if we were a publisher or a new journal, we can figure out how to include a journal in MEDLINE. This is the rubric for quality assessment: scope and coverage with these considerations, editorial policies and processes, scientific and methodological rigor, production and administration, and impact. And then for the journals and the publishers, here's the section on how you can include your journal in MEDLINE. It needs to go through an evaluation process, and you need to apply. Now let's talk about journal selection. Let's talk about journal selection for PMC. This is decided by the National Library of Medicine whether or not the journal is suitable for the NLM collection based on the collection development guidelines. It talks about the scientific and editorial quality review process, and then it provides the quality assessment rubric for journals indexed in PMC. So journal policies, article content, figure and table quality, formatting and organization, editorial board and authorship, publication schedule. You can see that they are similar to the ones listed for MEDLINE, but they are not the same. So take a look at those and see how they are different. Now, the next page describes how a journal or publisher would get their journal indexed for PMC. So there are steps to follow. There's still an application process. To my knowledge, it is not as rigorous as the MEDLINE process. And there's a policies page for PMC, which if you scroll down, it will describe publisher practices, selection process, and journal eligibility guidelines. So the PMC scope is described here. So I think it's important to just recognize that there's a difference between journals indexed for MEDLINE and journals indexed for PMC. Now when you do any search in PubMed, and I'll just use an old standby, you can click on any record and you can click on the journal name itself. That's going to help you investigate this journal. So you could search it in PubMed and find other articles in this journal, but you can also look in the NLM catalog. So is this journal indexed for MEDLINE? Let's find out. This journal started in 1996, it has 4 issues a year, and it is currently indexed for MEDLINE. I hope this sheds some light on a complicated topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.